What you're about to see will leave you speechless. In one of the coldest corners of the planet, a mother polar bear was found struggling to breathe, her head trapped inside a heavy rubber tire. For days she wandered across the frozen tundra, suffocating, starving, and desperate, while her cubs followed helplessly behind. This is the story of how a brave rescue team risked their lives to save her, and what happened in the end. No one could have imagined. It began deep in the Arctic wilderness, where endless ice meets the silent horizon. The temperature was a biting -40. The wind screamed across the tundra, carving ghostly shapes into the snow, and somewhere out there, a mother polar bear was dying. Her fur, once white as snow, was streaked with ice and dirt. A massive tire likely washed ashore from an old fishing vessel was locked around her neck like a dark ring of doom. It pressed tighter each day, cutting into her skin, freezing her fur into a tangled mess. She tried to pull it off, scratching against rocks, rubbing against ice, even submerging into freezing waters hoping the cold would shrink it, but nothing worked. Each movement only made it worse. Her cubs' two small balls of fur followed close, crying softly. They didn't understand why their mother couldn't hunt, why she moved slower, why she no longer played. Dozens of miles away, a polar research team was scanning the icy coastline. They were studying migration patterns until a distress signal came in from a local fisherman's drone, a massive bear, with something wrapped around its neck. When the footage reached the rescue center, silence filled the room. One of the rescuers whispered, "That's a mother. And she's got cubs." They had no choice. They had to go. The next morning, as a blizzard built on the horizon, the team prepared their equipment: tranquilizer rifles, steel cutters, satellite beacons, and thermal drones. They knew the risks. Polar bears are unpredictable, especially mothers. One wrong move, and the entire mission could turn fatal. As they rode snowmobiles across the white wasteland, visibility dropped to almost nothing. Ice cracked beneath their tracks. Wind clawed at their faces. Every minute mattered. The bear's oxygen supply was running out, her strength fading fast. Hours later, through the blinding snow, a dark shape appeared on the ice, a polar bear, dragging something heavy around her neck. Her cubs trailed close, crying out with tiny growls. The team stopped, hearts pounding. "That's her," one said quietly. "We have one shot." They positioned the drone, first circling above, capturing every move. The mother bear looked up, alarmed, and growled a deep, trembling sound that echoed across the ice. The lead rescuer raised his tranquilizer gun. The dart fired PFF-FT and struck her shoulder. She staggered, roaring in fear, but within moments her massive body began to slow, her eyes drooped. She collapsed gently into the snow, breathing heavy and slow. The cubs cried, nudging her face. The rescuers moved in fast. "We've got maybe 10 minutes, said the medic. The tire was worse than they thought. The steel threads inside had embedded deep into her neck. Blood had frozen along the edges. Carefully, two rescuers used hydraulic cutters to slice through the thick rubber. Each snap echoed through the icy silence. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, one last twist, and the tire split open, falling away from her neck. The team gasped in relief. But the job wasn't over. They cleaned the wounds with antiseptic, covered them with snow gel to reduce swelling, and checked her breathing. The cubs stayed close, trembling but safe. "We're losing daylight," someone shouted. "We have to move before she wakes up." They backed away, hearts pounding as the wind howled around them. For a moment, everything was still. Then she stirred. The mother bear's eyes opened. She blinked slowly, dazed but alive. Her head lifted weakly from the snow. The cubs rushed to her side, nuzzling close. She looked around. The humans were still there, but at a safe distance. For a long moment she just stared. Her breath misted in the freezing air, her chest rising slow but strong. Then, with a low rumble deep in her throat, she stood. The tire lay beside her, useless now, a symbol of what she'd survived. She turned to her cubs and began walking away, limping slightly but free. From the ridge, the rescue team watched in silence. None of them spoke. One rescuer removed his gloves, holding them to his heart. "She made it," someone whispered. The radio crackled. "Mission success." Mother and cubs safe. Later that night, as the aurora painted the sky in ribbons of green and violet, the rescuers sat around a small campfire. The lead rescuer spoke softly, almost to himself. "We came here to study survival. But tonight, we witnessed it." Weeks later, satellite footage confirmed it. The mother bear and her cubs were thriving, roaming the coastlines once more. The scars around her neck had begun to heal, but the world would forever remember her as the bear who fought to survive. And the team who refused to let her die, because sometimes heroism isn't about fighting monsters or climbing mountains. Sometimes it's about compassion in the coldest places on Earth.